Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm gonna do a June book haul. I've got a few books that were pre-ordered, but mostly I turned some books into my local bookstore and got some credit. So I spent that and a little bit more. That is not atypical. Unfortunately, usually what I get back, I buy more books with, and I don't wait. I waited a couple days after I got it, but I pretty much spent that money right away. So I'm just going to quickly go through books I got and what I do know about them. Some of them I don't know a whole lot. Again, some of them have been on my list for a while. Some of them are just things I picked up. So we'll see how this goes. So the first one I picked up was Richard Adams' Watership Down. I read this quite a few years ago, not too many years ago. I would say maybe 8 or 10 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. I even watched the little cartoon to it. But anyway, I love the book. Anyway, so I've been thinking about rereading it recently. So I didn't have a copy because I read it from the library. So I thought, oh, I'll just pick up a copy of my own because I like it enough that I'll probably want to reread it again, in a few years. So I'm probably going to reread that sometime this year. So another one I picked up was a fantasy called Shadow Prowler by Lexia Provo. I don't know how you say that Russian. It's a Russian writer. I guess the translator is Andrew Bromfield. He also translated the Night Watch series, and I can't think of that author's name. But anyway, so all I know about this is that it might be a trilogy. There's at least 3 of them in translation from the early 2000s, and I just know it's a band of people trying to stop the Nameless One. I don't know anything beyond that. I'm just curious. I picked it up. As I said, I don't know if I saw it on a list of Russian fantasy writers or something. I saw it somewhere and I thought, oh, I wrote that down on my list of stuff I wanted to look for, and I found a good copy, so I bought that. I also got First Grave on the Right by Darlinda Jones. This is the first in an urban fantasy series, I believe, about Charlie Davidson, who is a part-time private investigator and full-time Grim Reaper. So, I don't know, I've heard about these. I don't know a whole lot about them, but I thought it just sounded cool, a Grim Reaper and private investigator mix. So, like I said, I like them. I understand there's probably like 11 or 12 in the series so far, so I picked up another series. I had a good, no, I don't know why I did that. I pick up the first book to a lot of fantasy series, urban fantasies especially, and then I try them and decide if I'm going to read on. So this is a new one. And here's another fantasy series that I picked up. The first book is Poison Study by Maria B. Schneider. This is a book that I've heard about for quite a few years, but I never picked it up for some reason. I don't know what held me back. And but I've recently heard about it again here on BookTube. Somebody was talking about it, and I wish I could remember who, because I wrote it down afterwards and told myself I was going to look into it. And all I know about this is that in order to not be executed or something, the woman decides to I don't even know her name. Yelena. Sorry, I can't read. Linda. She becomes kind of a food taster for somebody. I don't know if it's royal or somebody in charge. Anyway, so I don't know anything beyond that. It has to do with poisons, clearly. And so I'm kind of interested. I know it's another series, but I know people have said they liked it. I know friends who really liked it over the years, and I just never picked it up. So finally did. That was a good price. Anyway, I also picked up Stephen King's Mr. Mercedes. I tried to read this a couple of months ago. Oh no, I guess it was last fall. And I'm not sure why I didn't fall into it. I think I was writing a lot at the time, so I didn't have time, and it also was a library book, so I had to take it back. So I decided to get my own copy, and try to get through. I really like to read the whole series, but I'm going to start with the first book and see how it goes. I just remember I liked it. I just didn't love it right off. So I don't know. There's something about it. I'm not sure. And I like a lot of Stephen King, but again, he can be hit and miss for me. There's some books I just love, and then there's some books I'm like, meh. So I'm not sure where Mr. Mercedes lies on that. So I'm going to try. The only thing I know about that is that it was a spree killer who ran over some people with his Mercedes, or a Mercedes that he stole. And then it's the cop, or the retired policeman or investigator, who is the other lead in the story. So I think it's his trilogy. So I don't know. I'm guessing there are 3 different cases, but I actually don't know. I only had the first one, so I don't know. I picked up a classic, Franz Kafka. How is his name? Metamorphosis and Other Stories. And I've never read anything by him. This is, again, it's one of the more well-known stories. Metamorphosis, which is the one where he turns into a bug of some sort. Anyway, I've always been kind of interested in him, and just, again, to round out a lot of the stuff I've read, and I have to throw in some classics here and there, and that's one of the modern ones I have not gotten to. So I'm looking forward to reading that. I picked up a new author to me, which is Sarah Waters. I picked up The Little Stranger. I've heard about her on some of the booktubes. Some people have talked about some other books when they're talking about some literary. Oh my gosh, that's a cat. Yeah, sorry. Cooper has to come and visit. Anyway, so I don't know a lot about this. It kind of seemed kind of like a gothic tale because it's talking about that there's something sinister going on at this house, and I'm not sure a lot, but of the ones I read all the backs on, that was the one I was most interested in, so I'm going to give it a shot. Yeah, it might be good. I don't know. So the next 2 are an author I've read one book to. I read this, The Winter Sea by Susanna Kearsley. I read this, it's been a while now. It's probably been several years, at least 4 or 5, probably about 5 or 6 years actually. And I really enjoyed this book. It's kind of a historical fantasy, kind of mixed, or not fantasy, historical literary novel that has some like surreal time traveling or past events and current events kind of mixing. I really enjoyed it, and I know that's a really bad description, but I like this one, and so I bought. So I wanted a physical copy of it. I had it on my Kindle before, and I want to reread it, so I thought I'll get the physical copy. And then I got The Splendor Falls also by her. So I don't know much about this at all. It just says an ancient castle, tragic love, a web of secrets begin to unravel. And I think it's kind of the same kind of thing where history and kind of the present mix, but I'm not quite sure on this one. So we'll see. I'm interested, and I haven't, as I said, I haven't read any of her since The Winter Sea. I bought Firebird at the library book sale. So I have a couple books now of hers that I want to try. Then I have some other books. I'm trying another author that I've never tried before, Japanese author Hiromi Kawakami? And I got used The Strange Weather in Tokyo. I don't know where I saw this. I wish I could remember who I saw had this book. If I can remember, I'll try to link them down below. Right now, it's not coming to me. But I picked this up because it sounded like a cute little story about a woman who meets her former teacher, and she's now an adult. So they have some kind of strange, a relationship. Friendship-wise, at least at first. And so it's kind of interesting. I just thought it was cute. It's kind of short. And I was interested. And then I didn't realize it, but I picked up another book from her in a pre-order. I saw this again. I must have saw it online when I looked at the other one. How do you say it? The Nakano Thrift Shop, which I think has to do with the shop and the people who work there and stuff. And again, it just looks like a little pleasant little novel. And I don't know, they're not what I normally pick up, but they're Japanese ones, so they're kind of different, and I want to try that new author, so I just never read her. So I'm trying something new. So if you've read, let me know. Did you like those books? I don't know. I'm kind of interested. A book I picked up for my, cat. Next month's book club is China Melville's The City in the City. This sun is not working for me today. Anyway, so this is kind of like, I think he's classified as new weird, but this is like a fantasy. It's like a city within a city. There's like 2 cities and 2 detectives that are trying to solve a mystery. I think a woman's died And I don't remember a whole lot about this. I read this about 6 or 7 years ago, I think. It might be even longer than that. I don't remember. And I really enjoyed it, but I didn't own it. I got it at the library. But again, we're reading it in my new book club. So I picked up a copy because I do like him and I have several of his books. And I'm always interested I'll reread that one and and continue to read some of the other ones that I got. Another book I got, this one I pre-ordered, was the Raven Stratagem by Yoon-Ha Lee. I'm actually one of those people who liked Nine Fox Gambit. That was the first book in the Machineries of Empire. So book 1. This is book 2. And I actually really enjoyed it because it made me think. And not everybody wants to, I guess they don't want to think that hard. I don't know. It was maybe because it was so confusing. I liked it because I did have to think and I didn't know what was going on. So I'm kind of interested to see how I feel about the second book, because now that I kind of know how it works in the first book, I want to see how it works in the second one. So, because again, it continues on from the last book. And as I said, I really liked the last book. I mean, I know a lot of people just hated it, but I loved it. Anyway, so I'm looking forward, and I pre-ordered this one. The third book I think is coming out, I think in December. So, I want to read this in the next month or two, and then, read the last book. And I might be rereading them. I don't know. They're really good, and I don't know. I liked them. And again, they're hard to explain. That just think of them as a sci-fi that is very out of this world in description, how the way the world, everything works in the way the people interact in the class systems and things like that. It was real. I don't know how to explain it. It had to do with the captain who gets attached to a dead general and how they go to take over or try to get this I don't know what you call it. Oh my gosh, like a colony, like get them back under control. And it's a battle. And I thought it was, as I said, I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm interested to see what happens next. Another pre-order I got was Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna McGuire. I read Every Heart a Doorway last year and loved it. This is kind of a prequel to a couple of the characters who were in that book. So the only one I can say about this is that in the first book, it was a school of kids who had gone to other lands like Narnia and Wonderland, but these are all very different nonsense and logical worlds and all messed up, and they come back to real life, or and they can't adjust. And I love that part of it, and it was very diverse book, which was really awesome, and I like that. So anyway, right now I'm rereading that in order to read this next, but I just got this, so I'm excited. And then the only other book I got, which I'm going to show, to see how this works, because I don't know how to put the pictures in yet. I haven't learned, but the book I just finished, but I just got was, there we go, Ling Yixing's Silver Silence, which is I think it's the 15th book in the Psy Changeling series, or the first in the second part of it, which is the Psy Trinity one. It's a paranormal romance series that, again, is book number 15, and I just love that series. Ling Yixing is one of my favorite authors for paranormal romance. She just I just think her world building is just phenomenal for those kind of stories. And again, I always love the characters because they're always just so realistic and all very different. And I love all the urban fantasy parts of it with the changelings and the psychics and all the different the way the world is and stuff. So anyway, I totally recommend that series. Anyway, so I just finished reading that. But I got that on Kindle because I am not cheap. It's just I didn't want the hardbacks because I don't buy a lot of hardbacks. I'll buy that one. I'll buy the ebook, and then I'll buy the mass paperback when that comes out. So that's all my books. Anyway, if you have any comments about anything I read, what I should maybe focus on, other than the ones I just said I read, Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys later. Bye.